Hello, this is my capstone pitch for Budding Beguilers, which is a turn-based game of strategy and manipulation where RTS genre meets chess. The goal of the game is to seize your opponent's castle. Within a set limit, players will create units at the beginning which will be moved around each turn in accordance with a strategy of their devising. At the beginning of the game, each player will assign soldiers from the 200 soldier limit they are given to units that these players will control. These units have two types, fake units and real units, which are identical in appearance, but function very differently. Fake units cost half as much as real units, and move twice as far per turn depending on their size. Fake units can't actually attack though, they take regular damage, and can only see half as far as regular units. There are three unit subclasses: infantry, who are effective against archers but weak against knights, knights, who are weak against archers but effective against infantry, and archers, who are effective against knights but weak against infantry. When a unit is effective against another unit, they do double the damage. When they are weak against a unit, they do half the damage they normally would. Combat itself can only take place when one player moves to the same space as their opponent, and it will continue each turn until one player moves away. Players will not be able to see the entire map, only able to see what is around their units. This helps enforce the combat being more about countering your opponent's strategy rather than victory by way of overwhelming force. As an example of player decisions in a regular game, in the first diagram, one player is blue and the other is red. The blue unit can only see the large fake unit since they can see up to 5 spaces away in an unobstructed line of sight with real units. Fake units can only see 2 spaces around them. And the second, the blue player has a notion that the large infantry unit is fake, though he cannot see the other two units since they are hidden behind the mountains, so he decides to make a move on the large unit. Now, there are no rules to give any indication whether a unit is fake or not, other than limiting their movement, but players can easily mask that by pretending to move them the proper distances. In this first diagram, the red player intends to try and lure the blue player by faking movement distance of his fake infantry, making it seem like he's trying to run away, but he has two units hidden who can both defeat the blue player. In the second diagram, the blue player takes the bait and moves on the fake infantry. As the blue player had guessed, the infantry was indeed fake, but now he can see the other two units. In the last diagram, the red player decides to use his archers since they are the most effective against the infantry. This is just a minor snapshot of what gameplay to expect. Players can move one unit one time per turn. Unit sizes will affect the amount of tiles players can move units. As an example, a unit between 1 and 40 units can move 3 spaces, though a unit of 71 or greater can only move one time every 2 turns. The only exception would be fake units who, based on size, move twice as far as their real counterparts. Players will also have the opportunity to split or combine a unit of the same type once per turn. In combat, there is no winner or loser. Each unit does damage in the amount of half their unit size, multiplied by any strengths or weaknesses they have. For example, if an archer unit of 20 attacks a knight unit, they'll do 20 damage, since they do twice as much damage to knights. But if it were against infantry, they'd only do 5 damage, since they only do half as much. The theme is medieval, in a grim quasi-fantasy universe where warfare has become a sophisticated pastime for rulers and ambitious lords. Similar games are Armello and chess. Both games' movement systems contribute to the movement system of our game, however it is fundamentally different to both, since there are no actions to be taken at any specific location, and placement isn't what movement revolves around. The risks for this project are relatively minor. The combat systems won't be too difficult to script, and the movement system can easily be made with Unity's navigation. The main risk is creating a gameplay dynamic that's actually fun and original. Thank you for your consideration of my game pitch. I hope you enjoyed the concept, and I look forward to any and all feedback.